It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
We actually fill our day with something, and usually it's social media. But because we're filling those spaces with something, we feel like we've got lots going on. We feel like we have no time.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
Hello, this is Dr. Justin Coulson. Welcome to Monday. I'm the official Monday welcomer. I've just anointed myself as such. Welcome to the week. I'm here with Kylie, mum to... I don't know where that came from. Mum to our 6 kids. And we're in our house, Kylie. We've got the keys. We moved in on Saturday. There are a few boxes everywhere.
Look, I think I've done a pretty good job. We wanted to get rid of most of the boxes before the truck left. So
you're an organisational genius. I don't know how you've done what you've done, but I'm grateful. And we're sleeping in our own bed again. I mean, and I think that today's topic is kind of pertinent and appropriate, not exactly because we've moved into a place, but because with so much going on, it can feel like it's hard to have space. And we've had a few people email us over the last little while via podcasts with an S, at happyfamilies.com.au, and say, how do you create more time in your life? I'm so busy. There's so much going on with the kids. I'm over it. A whole lot of people saying, I'm time poor and I need more time. What family time preservation ideas have you got to help us to find more time in our day? I thought, what a great conversation, because everyone, I mean, it's the word that everyone says when you say, hey, how you going? I'm busy. I'm so busy. I've got so much going on. And it's not a good way to live. It feels horrible to be in that constant rat race, that constant push to get more done in less and less time. So let's dive in, Kylie. I thought it would be fun. I have no idea what you've written down in your diary, but I thought you don't need to cover it. It's not like in this exam. Kylie's just reached across the table and put a hand across her answers. I don't know what your answers are, but I thought we would share 3 things each to help us to find more time in our day. 3 things to help us to find more time. Would you like to go first, or should I?
Well, I'll go first.
Cool.
You love topping off my list anyway.
Oh, don't be like that. Just because I've got I'm not going to flex. Never mind. I'm not going to flex about my PhD in psychology. That's fine. Because you've got the runs on the board in terms of running the family with 6 kids. What do you reckon? What's one way to find more time in your day?
I think the reality is that over the years I have, been like most mums and felt like the to-do list is just so exhaustingly long and never achievable.
Right.
There's just so many things that have to be done in any given day. But
not just that, but even when you get it done, it's got to be done again. Like the laundry is the classic example. The stuff just it multiplies and populates in the laundry basket. There's always more to do.
Sometimes I would actually have a friend come over just as I finished my cleaning to have somebody witness for the brief second where everything was in place. Can you just check all of the bedrooms so you know that I actually did clean today? Because without fail, the hurricane of children walk in the door and it's a blur and everything's undone in seconds.
Yeah, and in fairness to parents that don't have 6 kids like us, it happens with one.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes all the kids will be away except for one, and she'll walk in the door and we'll be like, well, there goes the tidiness. There goes the order that we'd established.
But what I've learned over all of these years is that we actually put a huge amount of pressure on ourselves to do a whole heap of stuff that probably doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
In the timeframes that we think that they need to be done.
Yes.
When we've got little children at home, wanting to have our house spotless during the daytime when they're awake and they're moving around and they're playing, is going to drive you insane. You're going to constantly feel like you're picking up after them every minute of the day.
Years ago, there was a meme on social media that had it basically said, trying to keep the house tidy when you have toddlers is trying to brush your teeth while you're chewing on Oreos.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And I spent so many years in that rat race of doing the same thing over and over again and getting more and more frustrated by it before I realised with baby number 6, everything slowed down with baby number 6, that I could just let her enjoy the day and then at the end of it, just pack it all away.
Can I just jump in on that issue of baby number 6, this is a little bit facetious of me to say, but we've gotten better as parents as we've had more kids. Like, if you want to be a really great parent, just keep populating. Because you get to practice. You get better and better at it. But your first point really is put the list together and then don't do it all.
Well, no. So, okay. All right. That was, I guess, just a little bit of a
preamble.
Yeah, a preamble.
Okay, all right. Well, we've got to get through 6 of these, so time poor parents and all that sort of thing.
Okay. So the 3 things that I think have made the biggest difference.
Trying to make more time in people's day by getting them to listen to the podcast longer. Nice one. Sorry. I'm sorry.
The 3 things that I think have made the biggest difference to me and allowing me to find more time in my day. Because the reality is we all get the same amount of time.
Sure.
Right? Working out when you are most productive and maximising those hours to do the things that need to be done.
Question.
Yes.
What if you're most productive in the mornings, but the house is tidy in the morning and there's nothing really to do in the morning other than get the kids out the door? Like,
there is a lot of things to do that don't include tidying.
Okay, you're fair enough.
So for me...
Yeah, because we're not just talking about getting the household chores done here. We're actually creating time.
As a mum, I've got a bajillion other things that need to be done, errands that need to be run, things like that. And so just working out what is the most productive part of your day and utilising those times, doing the things that are most important. Because what often happens is our productive time gets spent on a whole heap of things that aren't important. And by the time we actually have the capacity or make the time to do the things that are important, we've run out of steam.
Yeah.
So then the next thing that I have come to realise has been really helpful for me personally is sitting down at the beginning of each week and working out what tasks need to be done. I've got to take my daughter to the optometrist. I've got to return some library books. I need to do the grocery shopping. All of my big rocks. What are the things that need to be achieved this week? And then once I have my weekly task list, assigning just a couple of them each day. What I found I was often doing was making this big long list and then trying to fit it all into one day. Because I found that my most productive day of the week is actually Monday.
Yeah.
I wake up and I feel energized. It's a brand new week and I'm raring to go. And then I burn myself out for the rest of the week because I've gone 100 miles an hour on day one. So if I just work out what my tasks are for the entire week and then break it up into small bite-sized chunks, then that productive time that I have assigned each day can easily achieve those goals.
Okay.
And then the last thing, I need to keep myself accountable.
Yeah, and how do you do that? Like,
because you're sometimes
because if I try to keep you accountable, you get really cranky at me.
Of course, because I'm an adult and I'm completely capable of keeping myself accountable. Yeah. So I find myself sitting on my phone and I'm like, hang on a sec, what else do I need to be doing? And I just ask myself the question. It's really simple.
Okay, so those 3 things again in summary, the take-home message for your 3 ideas to find more time, find more space in your day.
Work out what is your most productive point of the day. You might have a couple of times through the day.
Sure.
But work out what they are and utilise them. Second, make a weekly task list and then break up those tasks into bite-sized chunks throughout the week so you're not trying to do everything in one hit.
And third, keep yourself accountable. After the break, a couple of ideas from the doctor about how to find more time in your day. Just when you think you've got this parenting gig nailed, your child hits some new milestone that leaves you figuratively banging your head against the wall. You wonder, where's the instruction manual? Your growth guide is that instruction manual, a webinar outlining basic milestones so you know where your child's at, where they're going, and what you can expect. Get insights, reassurance, and support from your growth guide. Available online at happyfamilies.com.au.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. I'm interested, Dr. Justin. How do I find more time in my day?
So there are 3 things that I'm going to suggest. Number 1, margin. Margin. It's my favourite word when it comes to time and time management. When you're writing an essay and when you're writing a shopping list, doesn't matter. There's a margin. There's a border. There's space around the stuff that has to be done because that's kind of...
So you're just going to start to use fancy words for the things that I've already said.
There's a bit of overlap between what you're talking about and what I'm talking about, but a bit of margin. So when you need to go somewhere, create some margin in case the traffic's bad so that your blood pressure doesn't rise and your energy doesn't go a little bit chaotic and bonkers. If you've got to be there at 8:15 and it's a 15-minute drive, don't leave at 8 o'clock. Leave at 7:48. Give yourself the margin. And that way you can enjoy the drive. You can enjoy the conversation with the kids, whatever. If the kids have got to be out of bed at 7, get them up at 6:45. Not to be cruel and nasty, but because you can get them up much more happily, much more gently, much more enjoyably.
It's not like you're getting them up at 6:45 and, chucking them out
saying,
of bed.
Come on.
You're waking them up. It's nice and gentle, and they've got 15 minutes to just kind of, slowly move into the day.
Yeah.
Makes such a difference.
Creating some margin makes all the difference in the world. So that's my first idea. And that simply comes down to making a commitment to do things sooner than you need to. When I was a university student, that's actually where I learned the value of margin. When assignments were handed out, we'd get a due date. This is due on, March the 15th. And my goal was always to finish the assignment 2 weeks early. Unless, of course, they gave it to us with less than 2 weeks to do, in which case it was get it done now. The reason that I would do that is because it gave me time to do the thinking, do the work, and then sit on it for a week. And then review it after a week and consider how I could do it better, and then still have a week before it had to be submitted. It just took the pressure off, and it also made allowance for when stuff popped up that I wasn't expecting. I had the margin so that the stress levels didn't have to go through the roof. So, number one, create margin by getting up early, by leaving early, by doing all those things. And that might mean you have to go to bed earlier. It might mean a little bit of planning. But it ties in with the second idea that I have. And the second idea is kind of ironic. And that is that we should literally do less.
Yeah.
There's the story that I've told for years about the time that I tried to do the washing in the washing machine when you were pregnant or we just had a baby or something like that. And here I am trying to be noble and trying to be helpful. And I've grabbed all the darks. And I sorted whites and darks and pinks because we always used to do pink loads with all these baby girls. But I sorted it out and I threw all the darks into the load. But when I pulled the darks out of the load, they were dirtier than they had been when they'd gone in. And while you saw me looking through the Harvey Norman catalogue to find a new washing machine and asked me what was going on, I explained, and you described to me that I'd put 2.5 loads worth of washing into one load. And when you put too much in, you get lousy results. Now, I know some people are saying, how am I supposed to remove stuff from my life? And it is really, really, really challenging. But you talked about making a list. Here's what I'm going to recommend. Instead of saying, what should I do today, or what do I need to do today, ask yourself, what should I remove from my day? We put the list together and say, what can I take out of today? What doesn't need to be done? And it's not because I'm going to put it off to tomorrow and make tomorrow chaotic. It's what stuff actually isn't that important. What stuff can I chuck out?
Well, for clean freaks, like I was and still am, the need to vacuum my floor every day is pretty high on my list.
Yeah.
But when I'm feeling time poor, it's definitely one of the things that I can let go of. It's not going to be the end of the world if my carpet doesn't get vacuumed for 1 day or 2 or 3 sometimes.
And so long as there aren't rodents and pests, so long as you've got appropriate rat baits or whatever, you can actually, how many Saturdays over the years have we sacrificed to the god of clean surfaces?
Too many.
And it's just not fair. The kids, us, there are other things that matter more than having a clean kitchen bench. By the way, I love a clean kitchen bench, but on a Saturday morning when we've promised that we're going to take the kids for a walk or a ride or a surf or a this or a that, the kitchen can wait until 11:30. So that's kind of what I'm saying. What should I remove rather than what should I do today? Because we've already got big lists. The third idea is going to hurt a little bit. It's going to make some people uncomfortable, you and even me included. And that is, so there's a researcher, I can't remember her name, I think it was Bridget Shute. She came up with this concept of time confetti. Time confetti is basically these tiny little chunks of time, 2 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 8 minutes over here. And we lose that time confetti to non-productive multitasking or to sitting on social media. So you're sitting, at the checkout and waiting to get through, and you're going to be there for 4.5 minutes before it's your turn because the lady in front's got a really big trolley. And so what do? You pull out the phone and you start browsing your social media because something important is going to have happened on Facebook in the last 20 minutes while you've been shopping, and you just have to be able to read it. That is an opportunity lost, especially when we do it in the kitchen or when we do it in the living room, we do it when the kids are around. We actually fill our day, we fill those spaces with something. And usually it's social media. But because we're filling those spaces with something, we feel like we've got lots going on. We feel like we have no time. Instead of pulling out the phone and staring at it, sit there and do nothing. Stand in line and do nothing. Connect with somebody and take the opportunity to recognize that we don't have to use every single minute productively all the time. We have a productivity fetish, and it's unhelpful and unhealthy for us. By just being, we can actually give ourselves the sense that we have more time. And they're my big three.
Yeah, I think they're awesome. And I think, like you said at the beginning, this is a really kind of wonderful reminder for us, especially going into this new phase of life. We're in a house now, and it's great because I've seen so many things kind of creep into our day-to-day happenings because we haven't had the structure, stability and routine.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these will help us not feel so time poor moving forward.
So my big three, a take-home message, just to summarise, create margin by making more space, waking up early or just creating more space. Don't fill in the spaces. Allow the time confetti to give you a sense of time affluence because, I've got 3 minutes right now where there's nothing to do except be with myself.
Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths.
Or connect with the people around me. And finally, instead of saying, what do I need to do, ask, what can I remove from my list?
Yep. Love it.
The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. And if you'd like more info about making your family happier, please visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.